There's been a lot of talk about The Brave and the Bold, the Batman movie from James Gunn's DCU. But where does that leave the franchise and its related projects? Well, don't worry, because this video is going to be all about the return of the Batman and where it fits in the DC movie lineup. But to understand that, we have to talk about Elseworlds first. See, there's been a lot of confusion about DC Comics movies since the Justice League debacle. You have movies like the Wonder Woman series, the Aquaman series, and James Gunn's Suicide Squad corner. And then we had the Batman last year, and there was also Todd Phillips' Joker a couple of years ago. There's a lot more that I haven't even mentioned. As I said, this stuff is complicated. Well, as we've all heard recently, James Gunn and Peter Safran are in the driver's seat now. The duo is on a mission to streamline the entire lineup of movies and shows in the DC franchise. One of their initiatives is, well, in comics, you'd call it an imprint, but I don't know what the movie term is. Let's call it a banner. So DC Studios is going to be releasing movies under the Elseworlds banner. The term should be familiar to DC followers. It used to be an imprint of comics that told stories with characters that took place outside the main DC universe. While that imprint has been long since shuttered, the term Elseworlds is still in common parlance. Now DC fans use it to just refer to any alternate realities in the DC multiverse. You could already see where the studio is going with this. See, the Batman and the Joker series are going to be in separate Elseworlds, though there were rumors that the Batman might get folded into Gunn's DC universe. But turns out that isn't happening. It has been confirmed that both Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker are going to be in separate universes, and the two of them aren't going to be related to each other either. So Matt Reeves is going to do his thing with Batman, and Todd Phillips will do his thing with Joker. Neither of them is going to pay much mind to the other. Another project that's been confirmed for the Elseworlds banner is a Superman solo movie. That one is apparently set to be written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, which should be interesting. Elseworlds does need more diversity. Right now, it's all Batman stuff. I'll have a lot more to say about Joker 2 later, but this video is about the Batman, specifically the Batman Part 2. That's right, it took surprisingly long for the green light to happen, but it has at last. At this time, Warner hasn't revealed a lot about the sequel besides the fact that it'll be called The Batman Part 2.
Mike started sculpting, and we talked about all these references. I talked about Bob Hoskins and all the, this idea of them being like a Warner Brothers kind of gangster character almost in a way, and he came back with the drawing, with the bust that he had sculpted. He's an incredible sculptor.
Also, the movie is set to come out on the 3rd of October, 2025. Yikes, that's a really long wait. Warner has definitely decided to make 2025 the year of the DC movie revival. Pretty much everything that has a release date so far is coming out in 2025. Now, Gunn has described the Batman universe as something of a crime saga. That's going to include the movies, but the saga will also include other projects, such as the new Penguin series. Supposedly, the Penguin is going to tie into the Batman Part 2 in a major way. In fact, the way Gunn has described it, the story of this show is going to lead us directly into the Batman sequel. So here's what we know about it. The series will be streaming on HBO Max, and it'll see Colin Farrell return to the role. Now, in the movie, Oswald Cobblepot wasn't quite the crime lord comic fans recognize him as. The show will take place in the aftermath of the flooding of Gotham City, which we saw at the end of the movie. According to Farrell, his first scene will see him splashing around in the water, meaning the flood is still recent. Taking advantage of the chaos and disorder, the cobbler plot of the show will be about Penguin rising to the top. Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers are definitely capitalizing on the popularity of the character. Despite his sleaziness, Colin Farrell's take on the character has definitely won audiences over. They're looking for more, and they're about to get it. For a while there, the future of this show was in even bigger danger than the movies.
To project a performance through a mask, you realize pretty quickly that this is way harder than a normal part.
If you think of Bruce Wayne as a recluse rock star in a decaying manor, or like Howard Hughes' version of this character, and he's got all his stuff spread all over it. And I thought, well, this is the version of Batman and Bruce Wayne that I understand. He's kind of this mixture of someone who people make fun of to a degree, but actually it turns out that under all of that, he's a volcano.
Hey, Vincent! But the show is on track now to start airing its 8 episodes sometime in late 2023 or early 2024. Now, I think that we can infer something about the plot of The Batman Part 2 from here. The Penguin might be the antagonist of the movie. After all, Gunn has implied that the Penguin show will be key to the Bat sequel.
We're big fans of hyper-realism. The makeup's very realistic, but also has a magical or surreal element. Our sensibilities really lined up very strongly.
He held it over this side and this side and this side, and he was, the shock on his face, he literally could, he said, I can't see any place where it doesn't, wow.
You take a character or an actor that we all know. You know, we know the shape of Colin Farrell's face. We know how his performances are.
I wouldn't expect Matt to return to the murder mystery well again, so the plot will see Batman go up against Penguin in some other way. And what way could that be? Well, what was clear during The Batman is that Gotham is kind of a forsaken city. Sure, there was some guy running around and punching people, but vengeance was not what the city needed. What Gotham was desperately looking for was hope. That's why the city elected Bella Real to the position of mayor. In the wake of the flood, I see Batman and Penguin taking different approaches to help Gotham. Being a crook, Penguin is going to be looking out for his own stake in helping the city, while Batman, of course, will learn to become the symbol of Gotham's hope. And Bella's time in office will bring a political element to the story. Also, fingers crossed that Zoe Kravitz comes back so we can get our Bat and Cat romance. I managed to tie all the elements of the Batman movie into something that'd work as a sequel, but there is one wild card still left. Joaquin Phoenix ain't the only Joker in town, you see. A certain scene in the first movie introduced us to its version of the Joker. Played by Barry Keoghan, he had all of the hallmarks of the character. Green hair, white skin, scars on his face. That might not have been all. There is a deleted scene that features even more of the Joker. You can catch it right here on YouTube, but the gist of it is that Batman visits him to ask about the Riddler. That scene implied that Batman knew Joker and probably put him there in the first place. Since it was deleted though, it's entirely possible that they end up doing something else with him. Once upon a time, in an obscure movie called The Dark Knight, a certain Joker told Batman they were locked in an eternal dance. While the faces of the pair look different now, we might be about to see this dance continue, or not. Reeves was very cagey in answering questions about what role the Joker may or may not play in the future of his series, and DC Studios might not love the idea of stepping on Todd Phillips' toes by introducing an alternate Joker. But that cameo from Barry is like a loaded gun placed on the table of the series. You have to assume that eventually someone will pick it up and fire it. It'd be a waste to leave something like the Joker just lying on the table like that, methinks. But that's everything we know about The Batman Part 2 right now. See you next time with more amazing content like this. Bye.